Welcome to the 50th anniversary of the Manhattan Beach Open, right here on ION, the network of champions.
Manhattan Beach, California, the 50th anniversary of the granddaddy of all beach volleyball tournaments, the Manhattan Beach Open. Behind me, court number 6, the championship court, and they're getting ready for the winner's bracket final. Back to a double elimination, old school volleyball. And with me is St. John Smith. St. John, your observations on this matchup that we're about to see.
It's awesome. The only thing I'd like to point out is this is the third match by Rosie and Watchvogel, and the 5th match by Strickland and Camacho. So, fatigue has got to be a little bit of a factor out here.
First serve is in play right now. It's Camacho and Strickland taking on Rosenthal and Watchvogel. Sean Rosenthal out of Redondo Beach, California, and is teamed up with Aaron Watchvogel, also of Redondo Beach. They're going against Billy Strickland of Malibu, California, and Dana Camacho out of Fort Lauderdale. Watchvogel and Rosie are both wearing very similar outfits. However, Rosie just serving there and getting an ace serve. Watchvogel with the big patch on his back, celebrating his sponsor, is up at the net. Both of them wearing their hats reversed, so we'll try to keep them identified for you in the action. It's 1 looking at 0. This is side-out scoring. Manhattan Beach opting to take old school rules, a 30-by-30 court. Ball cannot touch the top of the net and be in play. It is then a side out. The fans right on the edge of the court. There's not a lot of room here, as in an old style of play. The fans within 2 feet of the court in many places. They've had to carve out a jump serve area for Billy Strickland in one end zone. They'll have to do it in the other when they make the side switch on 5. Another big ball banged down here. Ball in play. There's a great set for Billy, but look at that swat put down right there by Rosie.
Oh, Rosie went up a little late on that block, but he hangs in the air and just slaps it back down. That was awesome.
You're watching action on ION Sports. Manhattan Beach going for the gold. $15,000 prize money purse here today, but really playing for the pride and your name on the pier. Strickland going on the attack off the net and gets the ball down for the side out.
That was a hammer down the line, and he was off the net. You know, the court's much bigger than what the guys are playing on today. The Olympic-style court, the World Tour court, and the AVP court. This is 30-by-60. You mentioned it earlier, and it's over 3 feet longer on both sides and 3 feet wider.
There's that amazing sky ball that netted a bunch of aces in the losers bracket final.
Did you see the reverse spin on that ball? Rosenthal was standing directly underneath the ball, but by the time the ball got to him, it moved like 4 or 5 feet in front of him. He had to dive to pass the ball, but made a great dive.
Hi, I'm Bill Strickland. I've got my eye on Manhattan Beach.
I asked Camacho why he's gone to that. He said he likes it. He thinks it's fun to get the crowd reaction, as well as it being a potent weapon for him.
Oh, he's been getting aces all tournament long as people don't know where the ball's going to land.
Strickland will take the ball. He'll get a nice high set right in the middle and puts the ball deep into the court.
Well, Strickland is extremely tall, and he's hitting over Wachvogel. Wachvogel not that tall, 6'1", I think, and Strickland 6'7"?
Yeah, he's 6'7", but a great backstory here, St. John. Wachvogel and Strickland have played the whole year together, but Wachvogel decided to play with Rosenthal because they've always wanted to play together here in the South Bay, and so he left Strickland, certainly not expecting to even be in the final himself, let alone see his teammate Billy Strickland there.
God, it sure seems easy with that big court. Rosenthal goes up and hits a sharp angle, and there's nobody even close to the ball.
How tough is it, St. John, with the fans being right on the edge of the court? There's really no margin for error on the sideline.
Well, you know, I was worried about Camacho possibly cramping, you know, but then I'm looking at him, he's rubbing his leg just a moment ago. Hopefully that's not a sign of a cramp.
He said he was going to take some pickle juice before this confrontation here. Ooh. Tried to throw it over on 2, but they were there. Billy spears it up with 1, and it goes over on 2. It's still playable. Here comes Wachvogel. Net violation of Strickland.
So keep an eye on Camacho, because he's rubbing his leg again. And during that rally, he did some pretty uncharacteristic things, but I think that's pretty normal for Camacho. He does some crazy stuff, and he throws the other team's game off because he does the kind of oddball things. But he tried to hit the ball over on 2 different times, and he did not make great shots out of it, and that's why they lost that point.
Wachvogel is back to serve. It's 3-0. This is side-out scoring. You must be in possession of the volleyball to garner points. Rosenthal and Wachvogel are coming out of the winner's bracket, so they have no losses throughout this tournament. Strickland and Camacho have 1 loss, so they're going to need to win 2 matches here in the finals to be claimed the championship of this tournament. Rosenthal and Wachvogel, they just have to win this 1 match by 2 points, 2:15 on side-out scoring. Side out of the play on the service error.
So it's 0 serving 3. They're going to switch sides every 5 points because it's a game to 15. Let's see what Camacho comes up with now.
He may also be using this high ball to gain a little bit of time to move forward if his legs aren't feeling great. Wow. Camacho just swang for it instead of trying to pull a dig out, St. John.
It was an easy dig for him, but he stood there and he tried to put the ball back over the net on 1, which is a difficult thing to do. And look at him again. He's rubbing his right leg this time. Before he was rubbing his left leg. So he may be cramping in both his quads at this point.
3-0 is the score. The South Bay favorites serving out of bounds. Another side out. Billy Strickland will go back to serve 0-3.
You know, and just because he may be cramping right now doesn't mean he's out of the game. He can play through cramps and actually come back and play great. So we'll have to just see how it goes.
Deep sand here in Manhattan Beach as Billy Strickland tries to get over but can't control the attack. Does the sand come into play here as you're trudging through these pits a little bit more than because it's an old court that's used a lot?
Well, I don't know if you can tell on camera, but the court is dug out. Towards the net, the sand is a little higher, but as you come off the net, it drops down. So even though at the net it may be 8 feet high, the net over the sand, when you come back 8 feet off the net, it could be 8'6", the net at that point. And there's an ace serve by Wachvogel, and that's 4-0.
That was a beautiful serve deep in the court, just tagging the line.
Hi, my name's Teal Hunkus. I got my eye on Manhattan Beach.
There was only a 20-minute break between the time they finished their last match and the time they had to start this match. Great crowd talking to the players, a lot of dialogue going on here on the court. And there's an old school trick right there in an old school game.
And look at Strickland. He's talking to his ex-partner. He was trying to get in his head. He was pointing at him and saying, "I got you." And I don't think that made Wachvogel very happy. Wachvogel, you know, made a great effort to get to the ball, but he couldn't get to it. And I know Strickland's trying to save his partner, Camacho. He knows his partner is in trouble right now, so that's why he bumped that ball over on 2.
Wachvogel told me before the match, Wachvogel said he really has great respect for Billy Strickland. And leaving him to play with Rosie had nothing to do with his skill, but everything to do with the fact that he wanted to play with Rosie, and they've always talked about it having both been from Redondo Beach.
Rosenthal, he's one of the guys out here that everybody wants to play with. He's so physical. He's one of the best players in the world. And having an opportunity in Manhattan Beach to play with him, I can understand why Wachvogel made the effort to play with him.
Big bang right there from Aaron, putting it down cross court. Block not really in play at all at that moment.
Okay, Smith and Stoklos fans, let's take a quick break and get a little retrospection on their past careers and history of this great Manhattan Beach Open event.
Randy, as you look back at your career and you take a look at Manhattan Beach, what did it mean to you?
Oh, very fond memories of playing at Manhattan Beach. My first Open win with Jim Mingus in 1981. I went on to win 4 other Opens, 2 with St. John Smith and 1 with Adam Johnson.
St. John, talk a little bit about your memories of playing Manhattan.
Well, you just look down here right now and you see the people in the sand without bleachers, without sponsors, a little bigger court, you know, different rules, and it reminds me of back in the 70s.
The Wimbledon of beach volleyball for us. There's nothing like it. When you came down to play at Manhattan, there was nothing in the sport that was even close to it.
We were always the guys from the North Bay. All the guys that I ended up playing with were from the North Bay, Santa Monica, Palisades area. And when we came down into Manhattan Beach, we were in the snake pit.
And the feeling that we got each and every time that we came down here and played, whether it was for prize money or for pride, was the best feeling in the world.
Most of the crowd was from the area. You know, they walked, they rode their bikes to the beach. There's a big history of them coming down and rooting for their team. And it was a real dogfight for us because rarely did we have the crowd on our side.
I do honestly remember those moments of walking down those steps, stepping onto the sand and feeling electric.
We had to beat the crowd as well. And the more we could actually forget about the crowd, the better off we would end up doing. But sometimes, like I said before, sometimes the crowd can really play an important role for the opposing team if they can get into your head. And I will admit, sometimes they did.
2010 Manhattan Beach Open, right here on Ion Sports, is brought to you by the City of Manhattan Beach. 12th and Highland, dig stick. What do you dig? Nectar Accessories. Wagoba. Stay tuned, don't go away.